Perhaps everyone has experienced loneliness at some point in life, and maybe you found out that it scares you, or maybe like me, you found the feeling quite enticing. I want to preface this video by saying that to each of us, the notion of being alone means something different. Some might find the feeling quite uncomfortable, yearning for people and connection at any possible moment. Some might find it quite inevitable, an effect of life choices or circumstance that led them there. And others might find a sort of comfort in solitude. Loneliness is a complicated feeling or situation to be in. However, I do believe that it is something that happens to you. It does not define you. There are so many ways to look at loneliness. Perhaps we either condemn or glorify solitude a little too often. Today, as I find myself alone in a field of buttercups, only birdsong and not a human soul inside, I just want to ponder about it a little. I spent the majority of my adult years mostly alone. When you're a child, you're always put into situations where you have to adapt socially, find ways to be accepted, fit in with other people regardless of your own likes or dislikes. When you become an adult, you either stay comfortably within the same group of people, or by choice or circumstance you find yourself in an environment rather unfamiliar to what you're used to. Hi, that's me. I'm a loner. Perhaps by choice, but also by circumstance. Some choices I made previously in my life led me here to where I am right now. I moved away from family, friends, from the familiar at a young age of 16, started a new life in a new culture amongst new people. I had to find a way to fit in. I got married and now I have a husband, but my day-to-day life is mostly filled with solitary work and activities. There is not a soul I could go to if I wanted to seek company in a spur of a moment. My work is also mostly stationary at the computer, and even when I worked at an office, as a creative you tend to spend so much time alone. There is really so little space for communication. I feel like for many people this is a rather recent thing, where so many of us are now working from home or are moving around in our vast and globalized world. The communities, the families, the social groups are not as tight-knit anymore. I know so many people all over the world, but I don't have anyone I could talk to immediately. Childhood was so much simpler. I could pop by a friend unannounced or give them a call whenever I needed. Perhaps that's because we're adults now and we're so busy, or maybe the world has inevitably changed. But nowadays, to meet a friend, you'd need to make plans months in advance. I am happy to be an introvert, as I feel like for a more extroverted person this would be the worst nightmare. Inevitably, we all need human connection. I love people and quality relationships, but as a highly sensitive person, I also need a lot of time and space to recharge and do things that I want to do at the current moment. I feel deeply and hate to interrupt, so oftentimes I find it exhausting and quite difficult to insert myself into a conversation if the company is too big. For many, social media acts as a replacement of real-life connections. We watch videos or movies, listen to music, scroll through TikTok to gain an immediate connection and fill that silent gap. We fill the lack of connection with the outside noise when the silence becomes a little too uncomfortable. But here's another thing. What if we're not so much lonely, but simply codependent? What if we simply seek to fill that gap not because we need to be around people, but because we're just so unfamiliar with our own selves? What if the cure for loneliness is cultivating a deeper relationship with yourself first and foremost, rather than finding ways to fit in? Maybe what we should focus on first is getting to know our own shadow, our own rather complicated and intricate mind, before trying to build an emotional bond with others. It's not always that being alone means you're lonely. I say this phrase often, but you can't pour from an empty vessel. Learn to enjoy your own company, learn to be bored, learn to listen to your own voice and rely on yourself to bring you that ever-needed love and happiness. I believe we too often forget that it's the relationship we have with ourselves that reflects onto our relationship with other people. If you look at it that way, maybe being alone and disconnecting from external noise sometimes can become rather healing. And maybe that's also a path to establishing healthier connections. I must mention one last thing. While I enjoy my time alone, I in no way glorify loneliness when it becomes detrimental to one's livelihood. Balance is key, and isolating yourself when you're unwell can be very damaging. Whenever you feel like you need connection, do find courage in yourself to reach out. Some simple ways to put yourself into social situation is to go to a coffee shop, a museum, or a farmer's market, where you will be amongst people without necessarily needing to interact much. These are just simple ways to stay connected. We all need connection, and I know full well what it's like to self-isolate when you are feeling down. Hi, I thought I would speak to you directly today. Some of you liked it when I did it once in one of my previous videos, and I wanted to try it one more time. There is no better place to record this video than in my secret garden. The reason why it's a secret garden is because barely anyone goes here. Barely anyone knows about this place. It's this lovely, almost abandoned garden with a multitude of plants, with tons of rhododendrons which are currently in bloom, this beautiful little pond, and I was watching tadpoles earlier today. They are about to turn into frogs, and I am very excited to see that. So what's a better place to record a video about loneliness than this? A place where I can truly be alone. The thing about being alone is that I don't think many of us particularly choose it. I think people who are mostly alone sort of fall into it, and I fell into it as well. Just the life circumstances, things happened which made me a loner, and of course I'm taking responsibility for it as well, because it's not like I put myself out there so much into social situations, but I kind of, through certain life choices, created this environment for myself where I am mostly alone all the time. I moved away from my family, from my friends when I was young, when I was 16. I came to England and I did make a few friends here, but the weird thing is that the friends that I made ended up moving away as well, or I moved away eventually, so we don't see each other anymore. And it's a tough situation to be in, especially in this kind of globalized world where you can meet people from everywhere, but you never know when you're gonna lose that person, when that person is gonna move. So that's why it became so important for me to feel comfortable in my own skin, and so important for me to feel good by myself, to feel good alone, to know that I am enough and feel like I am enough. Of course, I have my husband, so I'm never truly alone, but I don't really have anybody else. I have a friend who moved away to a completely different corner of the country, and I have friends in other countries, I have family in other countries, but in my day-to-day life, it's mostly just me and my husband. And honestly, I love it. I love people, I love being around people, but truthfully, I also get so exhausted around people. I give so much of myself to everyone. I can't focus on myself if I am with someone. So everyone's experiences are so different. Some of us thrive in company and others thrive being alone, and I am one of those people who, no matter how much I crave people, how much I crave human connection, I feel the best when I am alone. I really dislike big companies and big groups of people, so I like being together with... Ah, there's a spider! No, go away, spider! Oh my gosh! I am back. There is a spider flying above me, so I'm not truly alone, okay? You're never alone in nature. Anyway, what was I saying? I prefer to be one-on-one with someone. I absolutely despise big groups of people. I love... Hello, bird. I love talking to someone one-on-one rather than being in a... Excuse me. Rather than being in a group of people. There are so many of us, and there are so many people who feel the same but also very differently. All of us have our own unique experiences, and I would love to hear about yours. I would love to hear how you feel being alone. I know some people who literally told me that they admire the fact that I can go alone to a museum or a coffee shop or a town center, because they've never done that before. And to me that was like, how come you've never done that? That's just such a normal thing, but it's not normal for everyone. I ramble so much. I was really not prepared for this speech, so I hope it was somewhat cohesive, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.